Now, what words haven't I said in a long time? Particularly since I proposed this 6-week hiatus that is now gone to shit. I'm spoiling you guys. I'm giving you 2 videos 2 days in a row. See, I've already confessed one of my weaknesses, man. When I hear somebody that says something either about me directly or says something about something I talked about on a video that I just think is just goofy, just stupid, and just makes me shake my head, I can't resist but to make a video about it. For better or for worse, I just can't resist but to make a video about it. So here we are. 90% of the reason I'm doing this video after just making, because normally I don't like to do 2 videos 2 days in a row. Although I did some earlier this year. In May and June, I think. I did quite a few videos consecutively. But yeah, man, somebody wrote something in my comment section, and I ain't even deleted it. It's still there in my last video. That just blew my mind so much, I said, I got to do. I don't have any kids. Some of you who listen to me do have kids. And assuming I do have children in the future with my girlfriend, I hope that me being a dating coach has prepared me for what I'm going to deal with if I have a son, one or more sons. Because believe it or not, I do look at some of you guys as my surrogate sons or nephews or little brothers. And I try my best as a dating coach to exercise patience. Because I realize there's just a lot of things you guys are clueless about. Because if you weren't clueless, you wouldn't be listening to me. If you had it all figured out, realistically, why would you be listening to me? So I understand that. I understand that. And that's what fuels my sense of patience with a lot of guys, particularly guys who are my clients, loyal supporters, Patreon subscribers, etc. But there's some things that guys say to me, man, either through email, Facebook, inbox message, comment section of my videos, that just makes me go, how? How? Now, before I get to what I'm talking about, speaking of little brothers, I want to give a quick shout out to a young brother I affectionately call Lil Bruh, C Boogie. C Boogie dropped a video within the last 48 hours that I happened to listen to. It was a rock solid video. Particularly 2 things. There was 2 things that really caught my ear that C Boogie talked about. Because I've talked about these same things in either previous YouTube videos or when I did my Blog Talk radio show. 1, C Boogie was talking about, he talked about a few things in this video. It was mainly centered around men's fears. And I would say second to that, some of men's life regrets. And one thing he talked about, he said, you remember I was just in my last video, and in a few videos I've done recently, I was talking about how there's a lot of men who come on YouTube and essentially just vent. Almost all their commentary is representative of them venting about their disappointments, their failures, their frustrations. Particularly as it relates to dealing with women. And C Boogie said, I understand why some of you guys are frustrated, because some of you guys feel like you've done all the right things in life, but you still didn't get the girl you wanted. You still didn't get the girl. That's real. Because I remember I talked about that a few times with guys when I used to, as you know, before I came to YouTube, I did a Blog Talk radio show for 9 years. And I had that discussion with guys at least 2, 3, 4 times. I had guys call into my show and express essentially those sentiments. That they felt like they did all the right things in life and they still didn't get the girl they wanted. They still didn't get the beautiful, sexy girlfriend or the beautiful, sexy wife. Matter of fact, one, I hope he doesn't mind me calling him out by name, but since at the time he put it out there publicly on Blog Talk Radio, I would think he wouldn't mind. But he's a brother I've mentioned on my YouTube channel before. He's fairly well known in the black side of, as they call it, the black side of YouTube. He wouldn't be known among my non-black followers and listeners. But a guy who's by the name of Alex. A lot of people know him by his pseudonym, Don Calypso. Don Calypso. And I remember he called into one of my Blog Talk Radio episodes. I want to say this was roughly maybe 9 or 10 years ago. Might have been even 11 years ago. Yeah, somewhere between 9 and 11 years ago when I was doing my Blog Talk Radio show. And we were having a conversation. And I was noticing that Alex, his voice was full of a lot of frustration. His voice was full of a lot of frustration that was mainly directed towards black women. And I just simply asked him, I said, Alex, man, why do you seem to have so much venom against both black women and today's dating scene in general? Why do I hear so much like frustration in your voice and just bitterness in your voice? And he decided to keep it real. He said, Alan, and I'm going to be kind of slightly paraphrasing his words, but I'll keep the general essence of what he said. He said, Alan, I'm one of them brothers that the reason I'm frustrated and feel somewhat bitter is because I feel like I did everything right. He said, I feel like I made good grades in high school, which got me into a good college. When I got to college, I made good grades. I think he went to Dartmouth for college, which is Ivy League. He said, I made good grades in college. He graduated with a degree, I think, in either biology or microbiology, which you got to be heavy duty to get that type of degree. And he said, I went on, he said, I've always been a law-abiding citizen, treated people well, I've always been generally financially stable, financially self-sufficient. But yet, when it comes to hooking up with women, I've always been treated like that corny, lame nerd guy. That corny, lame nerd guy that none of the women, at least the more attractive women, wanted to connect with. And he said, it's been very frustrating for me. He said, it's been very frustrating for me. And when I listen to a lot of guys on various podcasts and live streams, I can tell there's a lot of guys who echo Don Calypso's sentiments, man. Like there was this infamous debate going on just a few months ago called, in the black side of YouTube, called the Pookie and Ray Ray versus the educated lame debate. The Pookie and Ray Ray versus educated lame debate. Because there's a lot of, I would say there's a lot of men, period. I wouldn't limit it to black men. But I pay more attention to the black guys talking about it. But I'm sure this is a discussion that happens. Like with white guys, their biggest thing, of course, is criticizing the Chad guys. Feel like they don't measure up to the Chad prototype. The Chad prototype. I think the black version of Chad is the Tyrone prototype. But there's a lot of men who feel like, again, that they made good grades, but yet they saw women gravitating towards men who didn't make good grades. I've been on the other side of that coin. I remember when there was like 2 or 3 years when I was at IU, Indiana University, my alma mater, where I was making nothing but C's and sometimes C's and D's. But yet I was still pulling some of the finest, sexiest women on campus. Whereas you had other guys on IU's campus who would fall in the category of the nerdy / semi-nerdy type guys who was making nothing but A's or A's and B's, and they were struggling to pull women. I don't think a lot of them didn't pull any good-looking women. So I understand that academic frustration. There's a lot of guys who feel like they've been hard working at their jobs. were financially stable, financially self-sufficient, but then they see women gravitating towards a guy who was unemployed or erratically employed, who had a bunch of financial struggles. Again, I've been on the other side of that coin in my 20s and early to mid 30s. Y'all know my story. In most of my 20s and pretty much at least probably 2/3 of my 30s, man, I was always erratically employed or unemployed. One of the two. Erratically employed or unemployed. Financially struggling. But yet I was still pulling 7s, 8s, 9s, and even 2 or 3 10s on that mythical scale of 1 to 10 of beauty and sex appeal. I was pulling a lot of 7, 8s, 9s and a couple of 10s. Even though during those periods when I was pulling those quality of women, I was either unemployed, erratically employed, and I was overall financially struggling. Yet there were other guys who were making more money than me, much more financially stable, financially self-sufficient than me, that wasn't pulling hardly any women, or they was only pulling average to less than average looking women. What's another thing? Treat people right. Being a law-abiding citizen. I know a lot of guys who are law-abiding citizens, never had a misdemeanor on their criminal record, never had a felony on their criminal record, but yet they've seen attractive, sexy women gravitate towards guys who are street thugs, gangster types, felons, convicted felons, guys with either a combination of misdemeanors and felons on their criminal record, or exclusively felons or exclusively misdemeanors. But yet they've never broken the law, and they don't have no beautiful, sexy women gravitating their way. They got college degrees. Other guys didn't even finish high school, but yet they banging all kinds of good-looking, sexy women. They got a nice car, a nice house. Another guy don't even own a car, never came close to owning a house, and he banging higher quality and a higher quantity of women than them. So I understand that frustration that Alex first expressed to me, and a lot of guys have expressed since. And anyway, C Boogie was pointing that out in his video. Another thing in C Boogie's video that caught my eye, he said there was a couple things, at least minimum 2 or 3 things that really caught my ear, mainly because I feel like I talked about it myself too before. That was one. Oh, another one, he was saying that there's a lot of guys who do a lot of whining and complaining, but on further examination, when they look at their life, they've never taken any bold, daring risk in their life. They've never taken any bold, daring risk in their life. They've always played it safe. And that worked for them when they were in their 20s, 30s. But then once those guys got into their 40s and 50s and began to look at their life retrospectively and reflect on their life, they realized they've essentially just lived a conventional life. A very unfulfilled conventional life. I used to have this lighthearted thing with my mother. Sometimes I used to do this thing that was kind of risky. It was kind of stupid, actually. Like when the train track, if you live in a city where there's train tracks and you know how the guards start to come down, they start ringing and then they start to come down. If I was real close, I would always speed up and go over that train track. Even if I could see the train coming, I would go over that train track. And my mother, if she was in the car with me, she would go nuts. She would say, "Son, why do you do that? You're going to make me have a heart attack. Why do you do that?" And I would always say, "Mom, you got to always remember, if you want your life to be exciting and gratifying, you got to be bold. You got to take risk." And she would say, "Shut up, boy. That was stupid. Shut up, boy. You're talking crazy. You try to get me killed is what you try to do. That train, our car could have stopped right on the train track and we could have got killed." Which, for the most part, is true. But yeah, that was one of my things, man. I tell my clients, man, you got to be bold. You got to take risk. The excitement in life. Yeah. So, anyway, it was a good video. I enjoyed it. So if you listen to C Boogie, props to you, man. I enjoyed that video, man. You dropped some good stuff in there that needs to be marinated on. Okay. Here's the main reason I'm doing this video. Some of you guys. Now, I mentioned in yesterday's video that not by many guys, not by many, so I don't want to over-exaggerate, but there's been at least a small percentage of guys that over the last, 2, 3, 4 weeks, starting with when I can't remember when I first announced that I was romantically involved with a young lady. She's actually half my age. I'm 56. She's 28. And yeah, we've been going strong for a while. And most of the guys are happy for me. I'll say that. The majority of guys, since I've announced that news, have been happy for me and wish me congratulations. Like, Alan, I'm very happy that you're in a long-term relationship. I hope everything works out well for you. But I'd say, rough estimate, maybe 5, 6, 7% of the guys who've heard that news have tried to accuse me of being some kind of manosphere Benedict Arnold or some kind of attraction and seduction community Judas. Like I'm a traitor and shit. Like, Alan, I don't believe you could call yourself red pill but yet announce that you're involved in a long-term romantic relationship with a woman. Don't you realize how scandalous these women are? How dishonest they are? How manipulative they are? How materialistic they are? Knowing that, how could you ever think about being in a long-term relationship or even remotely fathom the thought of possibly getting married to this woman? Are you losing your mind? You're going to lose credibility if you continue with this relationship and you proceed into marriage, man. I think a lot of guys are going to feel like you're not credible anymore. They're going to label you purple pill. You're going to be labeled purple pill instead of red pill. If you're truly red pill, there's no way you can believe in the idea of a long-term romantic relationship with a woman or marriage. Insert dog face here. Again, the good news is there's only been a small percentage of guys. I say no more than maybe 6, 7, 8% of guys who follow me have issued those type of comments. But I had, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, I had at least 3 guys that unsubscribed from my Patreon page because they felt some kind of way about the fact that I was now involved in a long-term relationship. They basically made comments to the effect of, Alan, we thought you were about fucking and dumping women, which is what all men should be about in the 21st century. All men should be about simply nothing more than fucking and dumping women. No man should be entertaining the idea of being in a long-term romantic relationship with a woman or even worse, getting married to a woman. And one of the arguments is women will fake relationships, which is true. I've said that myself. I said that in Possibility of Sex. Some women will get into relationships in fake attraction, in fake interest. So that's not an invalid statement for guys to say that. There are some women who will do that. Same with marriages. There's some women who will fake attraction in a marriage, fake interest in a marriage, particularly if the woman's like a materialistic gold digger type. There's a lot of women. So that's not a off-base assessment of some women, a percentage of women, because there are women who will fake interest in a relationship, fake interest in a marriage. So I do co-sign with that. But here's where I got to shake my head, man. I had a guy just earlier today, I want to say. He wrote a comment and he said, Alan, I'm concerned about you. I'm concerned about your decision to enter into a long-term relationship with a woman Because surely you, being the astute book author and dating coach that you are, surely you know that once you allow yourself to get into a long-term romantic relationship with a woman, and even more so, you decide to get married to a woman, you're setting yourself up for a woman to destroy you, ruin your life, and even more specifically, destroy your finances. You're setting yourself for a woman to destroy you, destroy your life, and more specifically, destroy your finances. Really now. Really now. Again, this is where I gotta shake my head, dude. Let me take a swig of water before I go in on some of y'all in a very vicious manner. I got a few words for you. 2 words. Couple, maybe 2 or 3 2 words for you. Brian Banks, Aziz Ansari, Leslie Moonves, Tavis Smiley. I could go on down the list. I can go on down the list. Are you guys blind, ignorant, stupid, or all of the above? I need to know. Alan Roger Currie really needs to know. Are you blind, stupid, ignorant, or all of the above? Obviously, you all ain't been paying attention to what's prominently known as the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement. Obviously, y'all been in a cave somewhere in the Middle East, and y'all are like, what, the Me Too movement? What are you talking about? I don't know what the Me Too movement is. Explain. I don't know. You don't know what the Me Too movement is. Please explain to me. I do not come in. What the fuck are you talking about? Y'all are seriously saying that you think that the only way that a woman with evil intentions and a questionable underlying motive can only destroy a man within the context of a long-term relationship or a marriage? Is that what you're really telling me in the era of the Me Too movement? If that's what you're attempting to tell me, let Alan, as some people call me, Uncle Alan Roger Currie or Professor Alan Roger Currie, break it down for you in real simplistic terms. In this day and age, really starting before the 21st century, I would say starting with roughly 1989, 1990, that's when the concept of date rape first came to the forefront. Date rape first came to the forefront was roughly about somewhere between 1988 and 1990 was when the concept of date rape first came to the forefront in a prominent way. So really, I wouldn't even limit it to the 21st century. I would say in the latter part of the 20th century. Once date rape came to the forefront, guess what that meant in real simple terms? That if you attempt to have a one-night stand, a weekend fling with a woman, it could backfire in your face. It could blow up in your face. Brian Banks spent 5 years in prison for a rape he never committed. 5 fucking years he spent in prison for a rape he never committed. Was he in a long-term relationship with the woman who charged him, accused him of date rape? No. Was he married to the woman who accused him of date rape? No. But yet, he spent 5 fucking years in prison, man. And another 5 years on probation. What are you talking about? Can you imagine? I can't even fathom that. I can't even fathom being in a prison for 5 years for a crime that I did not commit. Man, I would go fucking crazy. I ain't gonna lie. He's a better man than me. I'll openly say that, dude. I would have went nuts, man. I would have came out of prison so bitter. Ooh, I would have been black pill. I always tease you guys about being black pill. I would say 99% chance I would have been black pill. After that incident, if I would have spent 5 years in prison for a crime that I didn't commit. But if you watch the movie, what did his mentor, played by Morgan Freeman, tell him? And this relates to why I always promote the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey. He gave him a simple quote while he was in prison. And that quote is related to something Stephen Covey talks about in his book. He said, "It's not what happens to you in life that's important, is how you respond to what happens to you in life." It's not what happens to you in life that's important, is how you choose to respond to the unexpected episodes of adversity in your life that makes the man. How you choose to respond to the unexpected episodes of adversity that make you as a man, that decide your character and your integrity. And that calmed him down while he was in prison. Just that simple wisdom is what calmed him down. They also emphasize a book in that movie about Brian Banks that I emphasized on one of my videos. A book called As a Man Thinketh, So Is He by James Allen. As a Man Thinketh, So Is He by James Allen. But yeah, man. So he had his life temporarily destroyed, not only by a woman he wasn't married to, not only by a woman he wasn't in a long-term relationship with, he had his life destroyed temporarily by a woman he didn't even indulge in casual sex with. He just undid her clothes. If you don't know the story, I'll tell you real quickly what the situation was. He went to a popular high school in Southern California that's known for their football program called Long Beach Poly. And there was this woman who was attracted to him, and he took her to this secluded area of the high school, and he started undoing her blouse and undoing her pants. Basically, he was about to either make out with her, or at minimum, I think he was going to finger fuck her. And then he got paranoid. He got paranoid that he was going to get caught. So the mistake he made, instead of helping her, redo her clothes, he just kind of dashed on her. He left her in this secluded space he was at with her clothes undone, her pants undone. And then like a minute or two later, a high school security guard came and caught her. And then the security guard was basically like, "Why are your clothes undone?" And she couldn't think of anything to say. So she said, "I was raped. I was raped." And she accused Brian Banks of raping her. And then he got bad advice from his attorney, his public defender. Anyway, long story short, he ended up going to prison for 5 years. So that's Brian Banks. Aziz Ansari. Y'all know what happened to Aziz. I've talked about him like 3 or 4 times on my YouTube videos. He went on a simple dinner date that by the end of the date, his whole image and reputation had been tarnished. He just got back going with his stand-up comedy career and his acting career. But he laid low for a number of months, minimum 6 to 9 months. He just laid low after that shit happened. He wasn't married to this woman. He wasn't in a long-term relationship with this woman. He went out to dinner with her, was mode 2 instead of mode 1. That's what I would argue was his biggest mistake. He was mode 2 with her, took her back to his place, persuaded the woman into sucking his dick. She sucked his dick not once but twice. He tried to fuck her, but I think she wouldn't let him fuck her. And then she turned around and wrote this scathing article about him the next day or 2 or 3 days later. Basically calling him an asshole and a jerk. Now, he wasn't accused of doing anything illegal, such as sexual assault or date rape. So that was the good news. He wasn't accused of doing anything illegal. But if nothing else, his nice guy, polite gentleman image and reputation was tarnished. Was tarnished. Leslie Moonves. Leslie Moonves is the former chairman of CBS programming. And his story in a nutshell is He was one of them executives that would try to be like, had that old school attitude of, hey, if I scratch your back, you got to scratch my butt. If I do you a favor, you got to do me a favor. He helped some aspiring actress land a role, an audition for a TV show, and he felt like he was owed some gratitude for doing that. What did he do? He pushed this aspiring actress' head down on his dick and essentially forced her to suck his dick. Guess what that little seemingly innocent gesture cost him? Over $120 million. He lost $120 million in his severance package because he wanted a woman to suck his dick because he had helped her get a job on a TV show. How many of us can say, stupid decision? Stupid decision. And y'all telling me that the only way a woman can cost you money is if you marry her or you're in a long-term relationship with her? He wasn't married to this woman. Matter of fact, he's already married. He's married to that chick on the talk. What's her name? I can't remember her name now. He's married to the Asian woman that Leslie Moonves is married to. Leslie Moonves. He's married to some woman who's well-known. Julie Chen. Julie Chen. She's on that CBS afternoon talk show called The Talk. That's who he's married to. So he was married at the time he made the woman suck his dick. But he wasn't married to the woman that sucked his dick. He wasn't in a long-term relationship with her. But yet, in the long run, his dumb, misguided decision cost him $120 million. I hope that was a hell of a blowjob she gave him. Because in my mind, ain't no blowjob worth $120 million. And finally, we come to a guy that I know personally. I went to college with this brother. I pledged this brother. He's a fraternity brother of mine. Tavis Smiley. Tavis Smiley became a target of the Me Too movement because allegedly, I'm going to use the word allegedly, he got let go by PBS. He had a show on PBS network, and they let him go because they had an investigation that suggested that there was at least 2 women that were working for Tavis that said that Tavis let them know that in order to keep their jobs, they had to engage in intercourse with him. Now, he's denied that, and it's never been 100% proven that that's true beyond the PBS investigation. So that's why I'm punching the word alleged. But the fact of the matter is, his image and reputation took a hit. He lost some money because PBS let him go. So I'm saying all this to say that for all you guys who naively think that the only way a woman can fuck over you is within the context of being married to a woman or within the context of being in a long-term relationship with a woman, y'all need to wake the fuck up. Because again, starting with when in the late 80s, early 90s, when date rape came to the forefront, and even more so in recent years with the Me Too movement, women can fuck you up just by trying to fuck them. Not even actually fucking them, but trying to fuck them. Women can fuck you up. And that's why I'm all about Mo 1. Mo 1, in my strong opinion, and of course I got a biased opinion, Mo 1, and I have at least one person I always point out who backs me up on this, is a date rape advocate named Katie Costner. Katie Costner. She is back. I interviewed her on Blog Talk Radio. She actually said publicly that she feels like my Mo 1 approach is the best approach for preventing false, invalid date rape charges from women. Because she said it forces a woman to give you consent before you proceed in trying to fuck her. It forces a woman to give you consent when you Mo 1. See, all you guys, like, if you analyze most of these guys who've been the targets of the Me Too movement, all these guys, just about all of these guys, they tried to sneak into the pussy. They wasn't Mo 1. They tried to sneak into the pussy. You can't try to sneak into the pussy in this day and age. Women, if you try to fuck and dump women, like a lot of guys been saying, Alan, I thought you was about fucking and dumping women. I didn't know you was about long-term relationships. I thought all men should know by now you should always be about fucking and dumping. Well, as I said at the end of my video yesterday, the only time you should be talking about fucking and dumping is if you got the balls to tell a woman in a bold, upfront, specific, and straightforward manner that that's what you're trying to do is fucking dump her. Like I have when I was in my 20s, 30s, 40s, and even maybe some of my 50s. I never tried to trick a woman into having casual sex with me. Whenever I wanted like a one-night stand or a weekend fling or some other variation of casual sex, I tell women straight up, all I'm looking to do is fuck you. That's what I tell women. I basically tell them one way or another. I tell them, all I'm looking to do is fuck you. I ain't looking to be your next boyfriend. I ain't looking to be your future fiance. I ain't looking to be your future husband. I'm just looking to fuck for the X number of days, X number of weeks, X number of months. That's all I'm looking to do. And the women ultimately either say yay or nay. I don't try to sneak into women's pussy, trick women into having casual sex. Like a lot of these pickup artists out here trying to teach men how to be indirect, teach an indirect game, which basically centers around trying to lie to women and mislead and manipulate women into giving them casual sex. I ain't down for that shit, man, particularly in this era of the Me Too movement. Because you do that shit, women are going to become vindictive and they're going to try to fuck you up. Believe that shit. Women are vindictive, man. Go see Gone Girl with Ben Affleck if you don't believe me. Go see Gone Girl with Ben Affleck if you haven't seen it already. Women are vindictive like a motherfucker, man. You try to fuck over them. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Your number one weapon against women trying to fuck over you is to be mode 1. And again, I have a biased opinion about that because I'm the creator of the mode 1 approach, but I found from my experience and observation, it works. I ain't never had no false date rape charge against me ever. I'm 56 years old. I've had casual sex with I don't know how many women. I ain't never, not one time have I had a woman accuse me of something similar, something related to sexual assault or date rape. Never, ever. Never, ever, ever. The only 2 questionable experiences I've ever had with a woman, as most of you know because I did a video on it, there's 2 experiences I had with a woman that deal with me being accused of something. One was when I was living in LA, I had a woman, a Caucasian woman, accuse me of expressing homophobic slurs about gays and lesbians. And she claimed that I told her that all lesbians were going to hell. Like I would tell a customer that. Like I would really, in my right mind, tell a customer that. Because she was a customer of mine. She said in a professional environment, I said, all you lesbians are going to burn in hell. Anyway, I won my wrongful termination unemployment case against her, so I got vindicated. And the second time I had a shady situation was one time I allowed a woman to perform oral sex with me on work premises, which was stupid on my part. It was stupid on my part. And the bad news was I got fired because she kissed and told to her boss. But the good news was, so did she. So did she. She got fired too. I got fired, which was a bad thing for me. I lost my salary and everything, but she got fired too. But other than those 2 situations, I've never been accused of anything close to sexual assault or date rape or anything like that. Sexual harassment, none of that shit. I ain't never, because I'm mode 1, baby. Mode 1 for life. Mode 1 for life. And in my Patreon exclusive portion today, somebody asked me through email, they said, Alan, what has always given you always talk about how bold you are with women when it comes to expressing your sexual desires, interests, and intentions. What's the number 1 key to your bold mindset? Remember I was talking about be bold, take risks. Be bold, take risks. Somebody asked me, Alan, what's the number 1 mindset to you developing that bold, risk-taking mindset? I'm going to talk about that in my Patreon exclusive portion.